College Corner.
It was a sweep last week for the College Corner. We've been extremely profitable with this college football approach of pairing the Dimers Models best bets every single week with bets that are on my original card as well. Usually there's between 4 and 5 of those. We pick the 3 that have the highest probability, the highest edge, and we bring them here on the show, and it's worked more often than it hasn't. This week I've got 2 plays for the college football playoff. I've also got 1 bowl game to get to. We'll start with that bowl game. And we're going to take Arizona State +3 against Duke. Now, there's a lot up in the air in bowl season for everybody. If you're not betting the college football playoff, you are really betting on coaches. You are betting on just kind of the platforms of the program, the bones of them, not knowing who's going to be available. We just saw it in one of our wins last week with Penn State. Katron Allen, their running back, was listed as likely the whole game and scratched 5 minutes into the game. So you just can't take any sort of injury availability reports seriously unless there is a national championship still on the line for your team. In this game, this is 100%, and I'm willing to back Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State catching a field goal against Duke Bet. This is a Duke team that came real inspired to the final week of the regular season, right? The ACC championship game against Virginia. You saw that game. It was a balls to the wall, Manny Diaz, leave it all out on the field type managed game with fake punts and all these little tricks up his sleeve. And it worked. They beat Virginia. They got to crown themselves ACC champs, even though they had a pretty mediocre season before this. Well, fast forward, here we are. Does anyone care about the result of this game? For me, motivationally, I'm not positive Duke does. I think they got their big cookie at the end of the season in the ACC championship game. This game is essentially a meaningless exhibition to them. I don't expect the balls to the wall effort we saw against Virginia. On the flip side, you have an Arizona State program with Kenny Dillingham, who in my opinion should be the Michigan head coach right now. But after Michigan fumbled that, interviewing him 4 times and still asking him to wait, he finally said, you know what, screw this. I'm staying home. And with him staying home, I think we're going to see a really inspired effort from Arizona State. He's just a great coach. He really is. I trust him. He's gotten the best from his players, even with availability concerns with Sam Leavitt out of the lineup throughout this season. He was able to remain competitive with Jeff Sims, the backup, throughout. He's going to have to do it creatively for sure. But again, when there's a motivational edge, the way I think Arizona State should be with Dillingham back versus a Duke team that feels like they already got their prize, I will take the Arizona State side catching points every single time. For the next 2, we are going to move to the college football playoff, beginning with my personal favorite play this week. We're going to take Alabama +7 against Indiana. Now, this is, I don't know if I would call it a sharp side or a public side or what here. It's not the heartstring bet. The heartstring bet is 100% taking Curt Cignetti's Indiana #1 seeded Hoosiers, and let's ride them to a championship here. You feel like the evil empire backing Alabama in a down year to make this interesting. However, I think they're going to make it interesting. I think this number is completely juiced up. The Dimers model agrees. I would have personally made this about 3.5. And I'm shocked it's a full touchdown after Alabama responded down 2 scores against Oklahoma in the first round of the playoff, mind you, with head coach Kalen DeBoer publicly flirting with that Michigan job. Like, now it is cemented Kalen DeBoer is here to stay. His team already responded when they thought he was 1 foot out the door. And now here they are as the underdog. Alabama as an underdog in a game like this. They've got 5 stars on both sides all over the field. This Indiana team has played to their ceiling. They're amazing. They're also fortunate. I mean, they needed a miracle drive, miracle catch to beat a Penn State team that just went 6-6. In that Ohio State win in the Big Ten Championship, there was a bunch of weird 4th down luck, including a missed chip shot field goal from the Buckeyes and 2 4th and inches conversions that were failed by Ohio State. I love this Indiana team. I think they should win the game, but 7 is too many points, and I'm all over the Crimson Tide. Lastly, we're going to stay in the SEC. It's Ole Miss +6.5 against Georgia, and I guess if there's a common theme with these underdog picks this week, it's that I think we're backing the teams that motivationally are going to be really invested, because Ole Miss had Lane Kiffin leave them for LSU. and everybody's eyes were on what is going to happen to this team in their first game without their head coach in the playoff. Well, they came out with their new head coach on the sidelines and I think made a statement. I mean, they beat Tulane by nearly as much as they beat Tulane in the regular season, covered with ease, hung 41 points. We're just asking them to hang around against Georgia. And I do think momentum is a real thing in college football when you've got one team that just won last week versus a team that was sitting at home. I think you've got to believe the team that just won can roll in with some momentum. These two teams did play in the regular season. Georgia was victorious by 8 points. That spread was 7.5. That was a home game for Georgia. You're telling me we go from a home game for Georgia to a neutral and it's only a 1 point difference. To me, that tells me this number has some Lane Kiffin's gone baked into it. I think Lane Kiffin's a great coach. I think this Ole Miss team looked just like they did with Lane Kiffin without Lane Kiffin in week 1. So give me Ole Miss to make it interesting. That is 3 underdogs, 3 really motivated teams this week. Arizona State +3, Alabama +7, and Ole Miss +6.5. Our model says Ole Miss is the highest probability to come through this week.
Good stuff. I was just looking around. You can get Bama 7.5 regular line, Arizona State 3.5 regular line. So kind of a choice between you if you want the value or that extra half point. But yeah, very good. Looking forward to these New Year's Day and New Year's Eve games.
You know, I like my key numbers, Dave. We have 3 more rounds of this college football playoff to come. Reminder, we will be back with more episodes of this podcast next week after the new year.